what is really important for you to understand is that there are stages of human development that we could call superhuman. These are stages of development and ways of being in the world that are so radically advanced and profound and different from whatever stage you're at right now when you're beginning this journey, that you can't even imagine it, you can't conceive of it, and it would be so shocking and radical if you were dropped into it that you would have a hard time believing that such a thing is even possible or real. And that's one of the challenges of this work, is trying to communicate to you the superhuman levels of development and being that are possible for you, but that you're just nowhere even near to actualizing yet or to seeing, and therefore you won't believe it's even possible. It seems like a fantasy. And yet it's crucial for you to understand that these superhuman levels of development are possible, to open your mind to this possibility. So I'm being kind of vague here, necessarily, but what do I really mean by these superhuman levels of development? See, the mistake, and I alluded to this in part 1, where I talked about how people are very different. Remember, I said in their minds, people are very, very different. Don't just assume that everybody is the same, that everybody is like you. Well, what I'm saying here is that there exist rare numbers of individuals on this planet right now who are in such radically advanced stages of development and consciousness that we couldn't even call them human anymore. They are beyond human. This is a radical possibility that's not taken seriously in school, in university, by science, or by most of the people that you know. The chances are is that you've never met one of these superhuman developed people in your entire life, if you're young. You have no examples or role models like that. This is a totally different way of seeing the world and interacting with the world. It actually literally changes your perception of reality. You will see physical objects in a different way. This is not just some belief system or some ideology that you adopt. It's not just that, oh, you've developed yourself and now you have some extra wisdom or extra knowledge or extra experience about the world, or you have some extra technical skills like you know how to program or you know how to do good art. This is still all within the level of human. I'm talking the level of superhuman. I'm talking about being able to actually see physical reality in a different way, to understand what reality is in a different way, to have new capacities that ordinary humans do not have. And while that might seem outlandish, consider this: the only reason it seems outlandish and fantastical to you is because all you know is the people around you, and the people around you are extremely mediocre, and they've never seriously developed themselves. That's the only reason it seems outlandish. Then again, if we go back into the history books and into the scriptures of every tradition all around the world, in every culture, we hear stories and myths of superhuman people. Now, scientists, of course, look at that, and atheists and skeptics look at that, and rationalists look at that, and they say, oh, well, that's just myths and fairy tales. What if they weren't myths and fairy tales? What if actually you could develop yourself to such extraordinary degrees that you transcend your humanity, and it would be as though you evolve into a new form of human, in the way that a caterpillar evolves into a butterfly. In a sense, it's still a caterpillar, even when it's a butterfly, but it's gone through such a radical transformation, and it has such new abilities that we would Call it super caterpillar. And that's what I mean by superhuman. I'm talking about a way of relating to reality and seeing reality that will, how do I explain it? It's not something you think is even a possibility. And that's ultimately what we're trying to get you to. True happiness and the true point of life is to reach these superhuman levels of development. To break out of the mold of what you consider ordinary physical reality and all the limitations that come with it. That's ultimately what all of this is leading you towards. And you can realize that by studying these different stages of development and realizing that every stage is taking you higher and higher and higher and higher to the point where eventually you will transform from the caterpillar into the butterfly. But that will probably take you decades of work. And you will have to execute on all the stuff that I said in these 2-part episodes, and even more stuff beyond that. And that's what Actualize.org and my entire channel and all these videos and all of my teachings are ultimately here for, is that I'm creating a sort of a ramp that is helping to gradually move you up towards becoming this butterfly. And the difficulty of it is that you don't know. You don't even believe that you can become this butterfly. You have no idea what it means to be a butterfly, and you never will until you reach some of these higher ways of being, these higher states of consciousness.